Hi everyone! For those of you who don't know me, my name is Mr. Calvin and I work at the library, where I get to connect kids and teens just like you with really, really cool books. So come on over, sit down on the couch with me, and we're going to talk about 3 books which I loved reading recently. Now, the first one here is a graphic novel called The Deep Dark by Molly Knox Ostertag. And something really weird happens in this book. I think the best way to get started is to ask you a question. Does anybody here know the feeling of remembering something from your childhood, but it's so fuzzy that you're not sure whether it really happened or not? It sort of feels almost like a dream? Yeah. Now imagine that weird, fuzzy, dreamy memory feeling is about seeing a monster in your friend's basement when you were a kid. I bet you'd probably think that the monster couldn't be real. It was maybe from a game you played or a movie you watched, right? But in this book, the monster is real. And it lives in this girl Mags's basement because it's sort of the same as her. They're sort of connected. And the monster needs to drink Mags's blood in order for the two of them to survive and stay healthy. Now, obviously, when Mags's childhood friend comes back and they start this romance together, it's really hard for her to decide whether she wants to tell her about the monster or keep it a secret, like her mom advises she should. But it's not all just about the monster. There are other crazy things that happen in this book, too. There are parties and even sex. There's a missing uncle and all sorts of family drama. And to top it all off, someone's ex comes back, so jealous that he brings a gun with him, so that if his ex-girlfriend tells him no, he can shoot someone. I'm not going to tell you how that scene ends, but oh my gosh, is it intense. Now, speaking of intense, has anyone here ever seen a fist fight? Like a real fight, one where someone ends up bleeding or on the floor, or maybe you even need to call an ambulance? Yeah, imagine if you went to a school, right? A school where there was someone called the king of the school, and the king could make it so that anyone had to fight anyone. He could call people down to these gladiator rings and say, you and you have to fight until someone is bleeding or knocked out, or the fight comes to like an end, because it has to end. Now imagine the king can also do other things, like he can say, hey, the first person to push someone into the lake and bring me evidence, you get a prize. You get social status, or you get money, even. Yeah, there's one scene in the book I'm telling you about where the king makes a rule that the first person to bring him photo evidence that they made a particular student bleed will get a prize. Seems like the king is really in charge, right? But in We Are Villains by Kacen Callender, things start to kind of spiral out of control for the king, because he starts receiving letters from some mysterious person, he doesn't know who, saying that they have proof that he murdered a student who died at their school last year. Now, obviously, killing someone is a much bigger deal than starting a fight, or even making someone bleed. So the king's kind of in trouble here. The only thing that he can think of to do is to hire this other student who's really good at solving mysteries to prove his innocence, whether he's actually innocent or not. The book is full of like crazy twists and turns. I loved reading it because I never knew what was going to happen next. There's even a scene where one of the characters steals his dad's credit card and books a flight across the country, but then he never gets on the plane. He only booked the ticket so that his dad would see it and would go on a wild goose chase trying to find him and never actually find out what he's actually doing. Now, I can't tell you what he's actually doing unless you read the book, but I can promise you that it is full of some of the most insane twists I've ever read. And on top of that, it's narrated from a ton of different perspectives, so you get to get inside all the characters' heads. It's really fun. The next book that I have for you guys, though, is not so fun. It's a really intense book, it's a really powerful book, and I think it's a really, really good book, a really important book. But it's not going to be for everybody. So hear me out, and then you can decide for yourself whether you want to read it or not, okay? All right. This book is called Bright Red Fruit by Safia Elhillo. And this book starts out with the main character telling us that her parents are too strict. Her mama is too strict. I bet a lot of us have felt that way. That your parents don't let you do the things you want to do. Well, this girl, her mom won't let her go out if boys are going to be present. Her mom won't let her really go out much at all. Her mom won't let her dress the way she wants. In fact, her mom got mad at her just for going to see her friends, and now she's grounded all summer with no phone. Sounds pretty bad, right? But the good news is she's still allowed to be on her computer. So she likes to write poetry. She goes on this poetry forum, and then guess what? Her celebrity crush, yeah, this really famous, accomplished poet who everybody thinks is so great, her celebrity crush sends her a DM and says, hey, your poetry is beautiful, and so are you. Can you even imagine how that would feel? If, like, Tyler the Creator or Sabrina Carpenter or some other super cool celebrity who you just think is the best sent you a DM saying that they loved your post and they want to go on a date with you? It seems really exciting, but also really creepy, right? Like, why does this grown adult want to go on a date with a teenager? Well, she goes with him, and she gets tangled in this whole mess. There's a whole, like, big, scary thing where he's trying to steal all the things she writes and pass them off as his writing. And he's trying to get her to sneak out behind her mom's back and hang out with him. And worst of all, he comes to her mom's house and tries to pressure her into having sex with him in her mom's house when her mom is away. She doesn't know how to get out of this because she can't tell her mom. She'll get in too much trouble. And she can't tell her friends because she's been flaking on them and they're kind of not in a great place. So she doesn't know who she can talk to or how she can escape this whole big mess that he's dragged her into. It's a really intense book, you guys. But I thought it was absolutely wonderful. So even if that book isn't really your cup of tea, I hope that one of the other two books I shared with you today will be. Happy reading, and you're always welcome at the library. Bye for now, you guys.